Hey folks, this is Will, and I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you about some terms that will be new to pretty much everybody. Now, if you've played, video games or other LARPs or tabletop games, you've heard the phrase NPC before. And what NPC means is non-player character. And at a tabletop game, an NPC is basically anybody that's not one of the players, right? The person running the game, the DM or the storyteller or whatever, they portray, they can be a skeleton horde, bouncers at a club, whatever. But they're not the players. And in video games, they're everyone that's not the player. That's not a person controlling the character in the game. So that makes sense. Non-player character. When you come into our world, the world of live-action role-playing events, that word got carried over. And that word isn't quite precise enough for what we do. Because if you're, playing your character, the strain that you created to exist in the world of Dystopia Rising, or whatever LARP you're portraying in, the undead, the raider, the bandit, the person trying to sell you completely, absolutely not stolen things, those people are still players. Like, they have come to the event for the purpose of playing and having a good time. So non-player character doesn't really fit. So because of that, a lot of thought was put into it, and these terms were figured out. So instead of player character, that has been replaced with leading character. A leading character is the character that you yourself create, make an outfit for, source a weapon for, and bring to our event. Your leading character is kind of like a central cast member of this large ensemble cast. So if you watch The Walking Dead or Z Nation or Stargate or ER, whatever, just dated myself, apologies. You are part of the core cast. Like, when someone rolls into town who hasn't been around in town a lot, you know that if somebody's gonna die, it's probably that person. If there's a horde of bad guys, you know that at the end of the day, it's probably gonna be you and the core cast of the ensemble standing, not these bad guys, because it's not their story, it's your story. So that's what a leading character is, and a leading character is in charge of all of their decisions. You get to make all the decisions for a leading character. So we have leading characters, and then we have extras. So extras is what NPC used to be, but because NPC didn't quite fit with what we do, it's a better fit. Like, you are still a player, you're still portraying a character, but sometimes that character is, a zombie, a raider, a con artist, somebody that just needs help finding their keys in a zombie-infested junkyard. Maybe, yeah. And you're still playing the game. You're still part of this experience, but your agency, when you are an extra, is reduced to the scope of the story that you are helping to deliver. Now, sometimes that story is, there's a lot of zombies, and that's a part of the the setting, like the undead have claimed the world, and that's how we reinforce that and remind everybody that this is part of that story. And sometimes you might be portraying something that's a little, quite a bit more intelligent. Assassins sneaking around in the night, or a diplomatic party sent from some large faction. For us, maybe it's a casino, or one of the groups of Fallow Hope, or whatever. Whatever you happen to have in your game. So that's leading character for the character that you create, and extra is the character that is designed by our story team and then sit out during your casting time. And since it's not NPC shift anymore, because that's not really accurate, it is casting. And the default is still 4 hours for a Dystopia Rising event. And there's ways to drop that or increase that. And that's all left up to the individual and the individual event runners. So there's one more term that I want to introduce to you, and that's something that applies exclusively to employees of various Dystopia Rising games. Now, I really like this idea because it helps put into words the stuff that I try to do myself as an owner. And this is a support character. And I'm not talking about somebody who is, carrying the gear, or, coming in with medical supplies. Now, I mean, a support character is a character portrayed by somebody who has made that character because they want to play it. They want to be able to have them, with an outfit that they like, that they want to, kind of experience a Dystopia Rising story. But because, like, for example, with me, I know what's going on in my story because I provide the direction for it. I don't write all of it, but if I see something coming out, I've reviewed it and I know what it is. So if I was, particularly unscrupulous or thoughtless or lazy or whatever, I could just kind of steamroll through stuff. It's like, I know how to solve this problem because I built the prop. So in the support character write-up, their agency is limited. They don't get to attack just whoever they want. They can't initiate, character versus character interactions. They can defend against them. But the scope of the things that they can do is dialed down because ultimately myself and people who are employees, not like guides. Guides are fine. Guides still get to play completely the character that they want to play. But when it comes to employees, that's a different story because they've got a lot of access, and by saying deliberately that we don't want that access abused, we help make it more transparent that the people that are like me, like, we're providing the experience. Like, I absolutely enjoyed playing my character this last season for the people that, finally convinced me to do that. But I was doing it in a way that made sure that I didn't step on anybody's toes, and I didn't make people feel like my experience was more important than theirs was, because they are the priority as far as I'm concerned. So leading character is you. Extras is when you are portraying the story characters that come in, zombies, raiders, strains from various factions that are in the canon setting. And that happens during your casting time. And folks like me portray support characters. We don't pick fights with other players, with leading characters. And, we try to make sure everything's going okay. So that's I thought it was going to be a brief introduction, but I took like 10 minutes. But that's some new terms I wanted to make sure you were aware of. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the Wasteland.